super big hockey podcast, the second biggest one called Empty Netters. And he's like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, totally. Didn't like look at anything. And this is a live podcast and it's in the NHL playoffs and there's like all these people watching. So they're like, hey, Ryan, can you hear us? It was like echoing and stuff. I'm like, guys, can you hear me? And they're like, Eddie, who the fuck is this guy? Like, who's this asshole? Like, they're just making fun of me. My dad and I had not talked for like 8 years. When Theo Fleury decides to come down, he's like, let's do a podcast. And the first time I went to treatment, I finished his book. And so if everyone doesn't know, like Theo was famously recruited and sexually assaulted like 150 times as a hockey player. And I was sexually abused as a child for a long time. And I remember I finished his book, I was all messed up, I was leaving my RV dealership. And like, I remember thinking like, this is the first guy that I've ever felt knew like what I went through. I'm telling him this story on the podcast, right? I've got his book behind me. I'm like, dude, you don't know what you did for my life. We do this whole thing. I post it on YouTube and I get a text from my dad. And I have harbored some major fucking resentment towards my father. He's like, I just saw your thing with Theo. A lot of things to say, but the first one is anybody out there needs help and they don't want to ask the people they know or they're ashamed or they're afraid, you can reach out to me on Instagram. And if I see your message, I will talk to you 100%. I don't care who you are or what you've done. I will try and help you. I'm a dirtbag just like you. Not anymore.
I get I don't want to go into an interview and they know I used to do heroin, you know? But owning your story, everything else in your life just seems to work out. That happened. I went through it. And now I'm able to not only rebuild everything, but be so much more grateful for everything I have. Welcome back, guys. Wade Mulhauser, founder, CEO of Plugged In Recovery. I am super excited today for the Plugged In Recovery podcast. I have my good friend Ryan, who, recently we only met probably a month ago, but I feel like we've really formed a relationship. More so when you see someone who is taking action in recovery, making a splash. You brought Joseph along, who I love. I have a personal tie to Joseph.
Yep.
I'm really, really excited for today's podcast.
Man, me too.
You have so many cool things going on. Tell everybody who you are, where they can find you quick.
Ryan Beckmann. Probably the easiest place on Instagram, Ryan F. Beckmann. So 2 N's. Ryan F. Beckmann. And man, I mean, obviously I'm in recovery. Wade and I connected recently, but we actually shared the same sponsor coming out of the same treatment center. So we had that tie. And he's been a big supporter, man. So I'm super blessed to be here. I'm super excited. I'm glad Joseph can tag along. He's like a celebrity out there. He's like talking to everyone, like, what's up? And honestly, it's wild. So like, this is how small the recovery community is here. You've got a guy here that I was in a sober living with like 3 years ago.
Really?
And he watches like, Ryan? I'm like, whoa, what's up, man? I'm like, how are you? He's like, I'm in treatment, but like, that's a good thing, right? Like, it's not, it's not a bad thing to say that. But I was glad to see him, man. I was with him for, maybe 2 months. Probably not the best sober living house, but
okay, that's fair. I mean,
they're not all,
they're not all the same,
dude. And it's funny because like they're not all the same, but they can change, right? Like sometimes it's just, I mean, I'm a veteran, so I've been to a couple of them, more than a couple, and it's like it depends on who's there sometimes, right? Like who's managing the house, who's there, so. Yeah, it was good to see him.
Good, dude. And shout out Ray Pena.
Yeah, my man Ray.
One of our biggest supporters. I appreciate all the love that he always gives me and all the advice that he's given me along the way. So we can jump right into it.
Yep.
What do you got going on?
Okay.
I want to get into that first, rather than even how you got here.
Yeah.
I know River Source.
Yeah.
They don't know River Source, everything like that.
Okay.
R.I.P. But,
man. So we'll try and make it the Cliff Notes version. So last summer, and I got to tell because it kind of ties all in. So last summer, my youngest son ended up in the ICU, right? And he's a hockey player. I coach hockey. And, that's a big part of my story, my recovery story too. So anyway, so he ends up in the ICU at Phoenix Children's for a week. And it was touch and go. Like we were definitely thought at that time, like he might not make it. So I get a text message randomly one day from this guy, Eddie Lack, former NHL goaltender. He lives in Arizona here. We knew a lot of the same people. I'd never met him. I'd heard he was a phenomenal human being. He sends my kid this video, and typical Eddie, it's like humorous but very heartfelt. And he's like, you probably don't know who I am because I'm old, and like, but I played in the NHL, and like I'm a goalie. So he's like, Valentino, goalie to goalie, we're gonna get through this. When you get out, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna be friends, right? And so my kid was like, whoa, that's so cool, right? In a total moment of darkness, like all it took was a guy to shine a little bit of light on the situation. Like even I'm going to try to get emotional, like to even bring me up, right? Like it's like, damn, like people care about us. And So then my kid finds out that like he used to play for his favorite team, which is the New Jersey Devils. So then we get a text message the next day from Jesper Bratt, who is top 25 player in the world, plays for the Devils. He's at training camp. He's like, hey, Tino, we're at training camp with the boys. You're going to get through this. We're all cheering for you, And again, so that was like even next level, right, for my kid. So we get out of that. He ends up being okay. He battled some stuff, but he's okay now. We get out, and Eddie comes out to a practice, right? And, Tino, my kid, drew him, made him a present, drew him, it was a really cool event, right? Like, all the kids on the team loved him. Eddie's a great guy. He's a great human being. And so after the practice, we're in a group text with a friend of ours who's never played hockey, right? And a mutual friend, and we're kind of talking smack, like, hey, Matt, you should come out and we should take shots on you. And Eddie's like, I'll pay some money to do that. I'm like, I'll throw down too. And then so Matt's not responding. And so me and Eddie start talking because he's an eternal smack talker. Joseph, who's witnessed that on our hikes lately. So, dude, he's good. And so he's like, I'm like, dude, I've never played goalie. I played player. Eddie was a goalie in the NHL. And I'm like, Eddie, I could stop you. Come on. My ego starts instantly, right? Because I was like, come on, man. I'm an athlete. It can't be that hard. And he's like, bro, I'll go 5 for 5. You will not even stop anything. And I was like, dude, done. I just got to stop 1 out of 5. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, bet. And he's like, hey, $500. And I'm like, signed. When can we do this? Tonight? Let's go. And he's like, and then I was like, man, you know what? Neither of us need the money. Let's donate the money to charity. Right? Let's just do it for fun. And I'm like, I can have my kids' team come out. We can make a little thing of it, cheer on your coach. And he's like, I love it. He's like, he's played for the Vancouver Canucks. And he's like, I'm going to Vancouver tomorrow to play in the Canucks for Kids charity game. I'll pick up the check on the way and deliver it because you're going to lose. Right? He's like, I'll come tonight and pick up the check. And I was like, damn, right? So that kind of spurned this idea, right? So he comes back from Vancouver, and this is last fall, and we're trying to plan this event. We're super busy. He owns a real estate company. I got a lot of stuff going on too. And it was it just kind of died. And then in May, I texted him, I was like, dude, with my ADD, this has just been on my brain. It's one of those things where it's we either got to do it or not, but I got to check it off. It comes up every once in a while. And he's like, okay, fine. Let's do it. We'll do a small little event. He's like, I've got 2 kids under 5. My wife's pregnant. She's due in August. So I'll have 3 under 5. He's like, I got a real estate company. He's like, I'm really fucking busy. So an hour, maybe a podcast, and that's it. That's all. He's like, dude, promise me. And I was like, yeah, totally, man. 2 days later, he calls me. He's like, what the fuck, man? Why am I hearing about this? Why am I hearing about this? So, then he was supposed to be on a super big hockey podcast, the second biggest one called Empty Netters. And he's like, dude, fuck it. Just come on, talk about it. If we're going to do it, let's do it, right? So he's like, just be ready. So I'm at work. I'm in my office. And he's like, okay, it's today. I'm like, yeah, for sure, man. He's like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, totally. Didn't look at anything, right? They had a program you had to download on your computer. So I'm sitting there. He's like, you're on. I'm like, oh, fuck. So, and this is a live podcast, right? And it's in the NHL playoffs. And there's all these people watching. And they're like, hey, Eddie, you want to get your friend on here? Not really sure what that's about. So they're like, hey, Ryan, can you hear us? And I could, it was echoing and stuff. And I had my AirPods in. It was because I was listening to them. And I had my the whole thing. And they're like, I'm like, guys, can you hear me? And they're like, this is live. They're like, Eddie, who the fuck is this guy? Who is this asshole? Who is this guy, right? And so they're just making fun of me. And after I finally figure out, I'm like, guys, I'm good. And they're like, oh, great. Awesome, man. And but we ended up having a wicked conversation, a 15-minute conversation about, that we're going to raise money for charity. So Eddie's was Canucks for Kids. Mine was mental health hockey. My friend Brady up in Canada. So he struggled, played pro hockey, ended up on the streets, turned his life around. Now he has a great charity in Canada. And so we started talking about it. And then, by the end, they're like, dude, this guy's amazing. Everybody watch this. And the comments are hilarious. Who the fuck is this guy? They're like, oh, we love this guy. And so after that, Theo Fleury reaches out. So we were like, he's Olympic gold medalist, one of the best hockey players ever. You met him, yep. burned out of hockey. So he's like, I want to get involved with what you're doing. So he decided he was going to come down. And that just started then, Natalie and Shane and Chad from the Hope Hawks and all these people just started outpouring, we want to help. This is a cool thing, raising awareness. And I just started basically talking about it everywhere. And so it went from this small little idea to we held, one, a recovery night, Monday night, which was saved, which you guys were super involved with Skinny Vinny. And then, the whole Pollux that you shared. And that was a really cool event. And then the Tuesday night was the hockey thing. And we had to cut ticket sales off on a Tuesday night in Arizona for a hockey event when Game 6 of the Stanley Cup playoffs were going on, which was the clinching game.
Yeah.
People were paying $25 to $250 to come to this thing. To not watch hockey, to watch us. And it was wild, man. It was like, I mean, dude, Joseph, I mean, it was we had Craig Morgan who was there, who's like a 20-year sports anchor here. He's like, that's the coolest event I've been to in 10 years. Yeah, it was phenomenal. So, you know, and we raised money for good causes. We had a ton of fun. Shane Doan came. His son Josh Doan played in it. We had, I mean, Skinny Vinny, who's never played hockey, and my friend Dan, they've hardly skated. They put on goalie pads and took slap shots from 71 college players at one time.
Yeah.
Like just getting pelted. Like you probably seen the video, like, dude. And so, like, it was super fan interactive. We had a ton of fun. Eddie and I did the goalie thing, and I won, so I stopped him on the second one. And so, yeah, now we do a Wednesday hike. I'm 3-0 now against him, Eddie.
Hey.
But yeah, dude. So it was just like I had parents, man. I had like probably 50 parents reach out to me, maybe even more, say like, that was the best night of my kid's life. Like they got to meet their heroes. Everyone hung out. Everyone was cool. Everyone stayed till the end, signing autographs, shaking hands. And everyone was accessible. And, you know, they're like, so it was one of the best nights of our lives. Because, like, you know, and again, indirectly, like, dude, I just kind of led with my heart on something that I believe in, recovery, mental health, and it's just shined a huge light on it. And so being the business guy, I'm like, maybe we got something here. So, like, now we're taking this to Ogden, Utah, August 28th and 29th, and we're doing a 2,500-seat arena. Gilbert was 500. We're up to 2,500. We will sell it out, and we expanded on the production. And we're just going to take it on the road, man. I mean, the plan right now is just to keep developing it, raising money for good causes, for charities, and, you know, and just see where it goes, man. I mean, it like I said, it came out of nowhere. Yeah, it's just wild, man. It's been a wild ride. I'm super blessed. And it's weird because it was like the minute I decided that I was like almost solely going to serve others, like it was like I'm just going to like give myself to others. Like I'm just going to help. And everyone always told me like, dude, that's what you should do. Like you should be like, you're one of those guys that like people kind of, they follow, they listen to, they're drawn to you. You should be helping people. And like selfishly, I'm like, yeah, but where's the money in that? Like,
yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I'm an addict, right? I'm a selfish mother effer.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to get here. But once I started doing that, like, I mean, I felt better about myself, obviously, right? Like looking in the mirror every morning, I'm like, damn, I'm pretty proud of what I'm doing. But the blessings that have come back, dude, I mean, not even more than tenfold. Like not from financially, but just from like the love, right? Like the people that I call my friends now, like you, and even, you know, like I have a close group of guys in my life now that I could legitimately say like love me just for me and will show up regardless. Like if I was like, they don't even have to live here. Like they can be in another state. I'm like, dude, I need you. They'll be like, what do you need, man? Such a unconditional love from other males that even in recovery, like I didn't really find as much, man. So like, I mean, dude, I'm just spewing here, but like, so my dad and I had not talked for like 8 years, right? Like maybe two to three times. And there's a lot there, right?
Right.
And so when Theo Fleury decides to come down, he's like, hey, let's have a call. And he's like, let's do a podcast. Like just one of one, right? Like we're on a Zoom and I started posting about it on social media. And this is a crazy tie-in. So like Theo, the first time I went to treatment, like right before I went to treatment, I finished his book. And so if everyone doesn't know, like Theo was famously recruited and sexually assaulted like 150 times as a hockey player, right? And so, and I was sexually abused as a child for a long time. And I remember I finished his book. I was all messed up. I was leaving my RV dealership. And like, I remember thinking like, this is the first guy that I've ever felt knew like what I went through. Like, I was like, I didn't know him, but I was like, I finally feel like somebody else has been through what I've been through and feels the way I do. So I'm telling him this story on the podcast, right? I've got his book behind me. I'm like, dude, you don't know what you did for my life, right? Like, you know, and I'm kind of crying a little bit. And I'm like, this is insane to me that we're talking. And I'm like, I wish I could say that you got me sober, but like,
yeah.
I had to keep going for a while. But like, you know, I was like, but you really started to heal me, right? Like, because I'd never told anybody till after I read your book. And so we do this whole thing. I post it on YouTube, and I get a text from my dad. And I have harbored some major fucking resentment towards my father, right? As a lot of us do, right? Like there's usually some sort of issues there, right? And my dad texts me, and he goes, he's like, I just saw your thing with Theo. A lot of things to say, but the first one is, why didn't you tell me? And then he's like, and I think I get it because the same thing happened to me, and this is the first time I'm telling somebody.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, it instantly went from resentment to like, fuck, man. Like, you know, and he grew up in an era where you especially didn't talk about it, right? And through this process, I've been able to repair my relationship with my dad, which is something I never thought would happen to me. My oldest boys just went fishing with him. You know what I mean? Like, they got to hang out with their grandpa for 2 weeks. Like, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I started like giving myself selflessly, and like that's the gift I get back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's recovery.
That is
right. But like, dude, that's something I never thought would happen. Like, I'd already checked out from that. Like, I'm never gonna have a relationship with it. Like, it was like, it's just what it is. Exactly. Like, I'm not. And I was like telling myself, like, you know, like it's whatever, right? Like, you kind of disassociate from it. It'd been so long. It was like I didn't even have a dad. You know.
Yeah.
And then, but now that it's back, it's like, fuck, man, I needed that. You know what I mean?
How
like,
cool is
yeah.
that?
So, yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
It reminds when in River Source we watched the movie The Shack, and the premise of the movie is like, you don't know, you know, all these bad things happen, and you don't know why they happen, and then you have these bad relationships, right? And it's like, okay, but what happened to that person that they would do that to you, or whatnot, right? And I think that's what's cool about recovery is, you know, you start when you vocalize it, when you say, no, like, this is what I'm going through, this is what has happened to me, this is part of why I am the way I am. Other people, they can then now resonate with you, and it starts to add up and make sense. And like you said, we were just talking about this on the previous podcast, but all you have to do is go 50% of the way, right? And the results after that are out of your hands, but you're going to be blessed with more than you could have ever imagined. You know, it's not the outcome. It's not the selfish outcome you went in there with, right? It's all the blessings in return that you're just like, this is so much more than I ever could have asked for. So have the event coming up. You've had this organization that has blown up, dude. I'm literally, I don't know who I was talking to, but I'm like, this guy has to be the most connected man I've ever met in my life.
Dude, yeah,
right?
It's turned into that, man.
It's crazy. Yeah. But so like is it Ogden, you said?
Yeah, in Ogden.
Ogden, Utah, 2,500 people. Yeah. You will sell out the event. Yeah. What are you going to donate the proceeds to this one?
That's a good question. So yeah, I mean, and through this process, right, I've been able to start my own 501c3 called The Last Save, and you know, which is, it's tied to events, it's tied to storytelling, it's tied to awareness, and it's tied to, like, we just get people help. Like, we have a open line of communication, which, you know, I don't want to get political here, but what either way you sit on the fence, like, there's been cuts, right?
Yeah.
Like, real cuts. I mean, I'm sure you, like, to important programs, and so people are struggling even more, and we have become a place where people can safely be like, I need help. What do I do? Because, you know, I don't know about you, but for me, when I finally decided to get help, there wasn't a lot of people that wanted to help me.
Yeah.
Like, I
kind of
like
bridges,
right? Like, like, especially the more times I did it, right? Like, and so it becomes this thing where it's like, who do I call? Like, I want help. I know I need help, and you're in it, and you're like, I don't know what to do. And even calling treatment centers can be scary,
very
right?
so.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're so warped. You're like, they're gonna judge me. Like, it's scary, right? And so we become this safe place where people can call, and we can get you into the right places, or at least get you connected with someone like Wade. You know, because we did this recently. We're like, you know, you couldn't help them in the way that they needed help, but you put them in touch with somebody who did, right? And which is amazing. And so we're doing for that charity. We are doing Be the Hope, which is a pediatric cancer charity in Utah, and then the Ogden Mustangs, which is a youth hockey charity. So all three of those, we support money. So everywhere we go with these, we will do a local youth hockey, probably my charity, and then 1 or 2 other local charities, right? But yeah, man, it's insane, man. And again, like the more, just the people, like you said, the people keep coming into my life, and I'm like, whoa, this is wild, right? But I just keep leading with my heart, man. I don't know how else to say it, like, and I don't say that as like a boast. I don't know. It's just like I keep leading with wanting to help people, man, and that is real to me, because I remember I wish somebody would fucking help me.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure there was a million people, right? Like,
yeah.
like everybody wanted to help, but like I just remember that feeling of like, man, like I'm alone, and so I don't want anybody to feel that way, man. Like I tell you, like I answer the phone, like I do, like, and you do too, and I won't ever stop that. Like that's something to me that. I mean, I got so many people to help lately that just makes me feel so good. I don't know if there's a better feeling than like someone calling you like 30 days later and being like, dude, like, thank you. Like,
It worked
and I'm
out.
like, yeah. And I'm like, all I
Yeah.
did was like get you a phone number, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, but nobody else did. You know, nobody else cared. Or no, I shouldn't say it. Nobody else was available or approachable or whatever the thing is. So I will say that, man, that's something like if anybody out there needs help and they don't want to ask the people they know, or they're ashamed, or they're afraid, you can reach out to me on Instagram, and if I see your message, I will talk to you 100%. I don't care who you are or what you've done. Like I will try and help you. And I don't ever want to stop that, man. Like that's probably the most important one for me, like, is that I want to be someone that will always show people that, like, you know, you can come back is one thing. You can thrive. That's like, we've talked about that, right? Like in recovery, I want to be someone who they're like, man, you don't have to just stop using drugs. Like you can be the best. You can be, I mean, I know everyone says like, I'm the better version than like I ever thought but like really, like you can have things, and you can create things, and you can not hide behind it. Cause like even in recovery, a lot of people do that still. Like I don't want to tell people I was a drug addict, like, which is, you know, it's different than saying you're an alcoholic. It just is.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
I
get the, you know, the sense of like, I don't want to go into an interview and they know I used to do heroin, you know? But I think when you can own that, they'd be surprised at how shocked most people are when you're in that interview and you say that and they're like, I can't believe you just told me that. And great. Like, that's not you today. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, power to you. So, and owning your story, I think has been the biggest piece to get you, you know, everything that's going on, which allows you to help more people. You know, we were just talking about, as you were in here, how big this really could get with college campuses and, you know, the NHL and having recovery nights, which are big in other leagues. And why don't they have that in the NHL?
I don't know. Yeah. Which is probably needed more than most other sports. It's like football. Like with the abuse you put your bodies through. I mean, these guys need help. I mean, yeah, dude, the scope of this could be amazing. I mean, we're putting together, and I don't know when this will come out because it might be announced before, hopefully. But we're creating a group right now of people in recovery. So and you know, big personalities. I don't know how to say it. Like on social media, we're creating a collective group of females and males that are in recovery that want to help people, and we're creating a brand together where we'll do events, we'll raise money for charities, we will show up, we will come to treatment centers. I mean, we'll do everything, man. We'll do whatever it takes. I'll give an example, and because I know he won't care that I say this. So like, there's this guy, Jimmy Queen, and he's big. I mean, dude, Joseph, I told Joseph, and he's like, you talk to that motherfucker? Like, he's like, tell him I'm his biggest fan. So I met him through somebody. I've never met him. We just talked, right? Text and stuff. And then we talked the other day on the phone, and I told him what we're doing, and he's like, dude, he didn't ask, am I getting paid? He didn't ask. All he asked was, when is it and how do I get there? That's it. He's like, I'm in. I'm like, really? He's like, dude, I have been so fucking blessed in recovery. Like, how can I not? Like, and he's like, yeah, dude, like, whatever you need. And I'm like, dude, he's like, dude, I don't care. Like, we're in. Like, just tell us. And I'm like, and that's been the reaction, man, which is insane to me, right? It shouldn't be, but it is. Like, these guys and these guys and girls that are just like, I mean, dude, even like when Natalie and Shane and Chad came over, like, I was on their podcast and they're like, how can we help? I'm like, and I'm just like, well, you can come. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it was like that easy. And I'm like right before I said it, I was like, there's no, like, they're not going to come to my little event. And they're like, yeah, totally. And then we off camera, they're like, okay, like, when do we have to be there? And like, they didn't ask for anything. They were just like, we just want to help. And those are the people that I'm surrounding myself with. So, but yeah, so we're creating this group, which is going to be hopefully big. We've got, a friend of mine, Blake, who was in the UFC, who's in recovery. He's got some hilarious content. You should follow him, Blake Builder. He's got this thing right now where he races random people on the street. And people like, what is it called? Like, and he calls them victims. And so he like, dude, he'll like, but people recognize him because he's got like 1 million followers on Instagram. And so like, he'll be like cruising down the street and someone will be like, dude, there's Blake. And then they race, like sprint. And the last one he did, they both fell. Like, yeah, dude, he's a trip, man. So he's going to be involved in this thing. And he's just a great human being. And he's someone that we met recently, right? But he's in the same group of friends. And he's one of those guys, like I was talking about, like, I mean, dude, you know this. When you go through the worst, like when you go through, and not one worst, like when you've like, I don't want like, but there's levels, right?
Yeah.
And like
Oh,
when
yeah.
you get your ass kicked consistently, and it's almost worse when you like get back up to a height and then get like, you know what I mean? Like that yin yang of like, I'm like successful and then I'm gonna fuck my ass like up and down. And when you've been like at the bottom and you're just like, you've had those moments of like, dude, like I give up. Like, there's a connection. You know what I mean? Like there's something like, that ties you immediately. Like you're like, I get you in every way. Like there's nothing you could tell me that I'm going to be like shocked or scared or nervous or judgmental about. Like I'm a dirtbag just like you. Not anymore.
Yeah.
But like, well, I still have some like things where I'm like, fuck Ryan. Like that was a dumb thing to say. But no, but for the most part, I'm a good human being. I try to be a good human being in everything I do. And when I don't, I try and make it right? Like that's the real thing. Like looking at yourself in the mirror, I still make mistakes. I still, treat people poorly sometimes, like I'm selfish sometimes, and then I just try and like every day be like, fuck man, okay, I gotta make that right with that person. And hopefully they accept it. And if they don't.
I mean, it's great to have a program that lays out, the exact step-by-step process to get us through this. And I think it's super cool because you're right, we do relate to those people. It's easy in the recovery space to get people to show up because it's trained. You're told to speak, you go speak. Somebody asks for help, you go help.
Yeah.
Like that's what you do.
Yeah.
But what's awesome is you find that by doing those things, just like we talked about, everything else in your life just seems to work out. Bills are stacked against me, and the girlfriend doesn't like me, and whatever it is, and then I go help someone, and all of a sudden these other problems just somehow work themselves out, which is super cool. And I think the biggest thing that you really touched on, I like to talk about, is how you understand you have this innate ability to know exactly where someone's at. And when you say, people sometimes don't know who or how to ask for help, I like to talk about with a lot of the guys in the houses, and even people who repeatedly go back to treatment, they build it up, rip it down, build it up, rip it down, is like, you're showing up to a boxing match, and the first time you show up to that boxing match, everybody's there rooting you on. You got the hometown, you got your high school coach, everybody wants to root you on because they want you to knock them out.
Yep.
And like the disease is who you're fighting, right?
Yep.
And then like you get knocked out, usually the first round, and then you come back. You might make it 2 rounds, and then you come back. And you might make it 5 rounds, and you come back. You might make it 9 rounds. Then you might make it 9 rounds again, and then it just starts working its way backwards, where it's like 8 rounds, 7 rounds. But then you start looking around, and you realize no one is showing up to this fight anymore because no one wants to see you keep getting your ass kicked by this disease, right? Like the hope is gone from everybody around you, and you just want someone to relate of like, I want you to show up because I do want to fight this thing again. And it takes someone else who's been in that ring over and over and over again to kind of be in your corner for that conversation that says, hey, no, like we'll get through this together. You're not going to knock this thing out.
Yeah.
But you can outlast it. You can outlast it, And I think that's super important for other people to be able to reach out to someone who's also been in that ring because the other people will never understand. No. They'll never understand. So having like a resource like you and someone else who's in the community, throwing events. What other events you got coming up this year?
Dude, we're going all over the place, man. So we're planning on going to a bunch of universities. We're trying to go to Danbury, Connecticut. There's a crazy story so there was like a hockey team. It's on Netflix. And basically it was ran by the mob. And so, yeah, dude, it's a wild story. Like, you check it out. Danbury Thrashers. It was ran by the mob, and he had like his 17-year-old son run the team. Like, he was in high school, I think is the story. And so I've kind of connected with a guy through this, like, who played on that team. He's considered the toughest guy in hockey, Diamond Hand Ames. So we're trying to be like, hey, should we throw one there with him? But we are throwing we literally decided this today, man. So again, I don't know when this will come out, but we're going to do an August 15th event in California to kind of launch this brand of what we're doing.
Okay.
Where we're going to be like, you'll have access to these people you follow in a recovery and fitness primarily, but anything like recovery, like guys for athletes will be there, just whoever, man, as long as you're like, we have a vetting process that's basically like, are you a good human being or are you actually in recovery, right? Like, I don't care if you're sober, but like, are you actually like, I don't care if it was a week ago, like, but are you in recovery so you can help people? And if that's the case, then you can kind of join this team. And there's a couple other things that, you need to sign off on as far as like what you will and won't say. But, we're going to create this event. We're, again, raising money for substance abuse and mental health in Southern California, where we will have this production where like even you can work out with these guys if that's your thing, or like you can just meet and greet, and we're gonna have speakers, and there'll be hopefully 20 people. A friend of mine who's got a wild story, probably the gnarliest story I've ever heard, Frank Parisi, is coming out too. So Frank rolls with David Goggins. So Frank, he's got, so he Frank is and you check him out on Instagram. He's an amazing individual. Frank is from New York. Frank's a mob guy, and so was his dad. And he became a junkie, and he's sober now, but he had a heart transplant, and I'm not going to share his whole story, but it is fucking gnarly. And he got it transplanted. The heart transplant was from a female, right? And so like he's before this, like a very hardened dude, and now he's like this kind of like soft feminine side. And he talks about he's like, man, like I feel like God like put me through this to like go through this whole experience, and so now all he does is help people. It was like I went through the worst, and like essentially I had like feminine energy to put me into, so like I can resonate with people. I can like understand people in a way I never could before. And he's like, it's a really wild story, dude. I mean, and how he even got the transplant, and so like he's someone who's involved in this, and he's gonna come out and he's in recovery, and yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I'm one of those people, and he is, and probably you, and I know this guy sitting here is for sure too, like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I don't know what the odds are or how you could figure that out, but like, I should not be sitting here right now. And a lot of people aren't sitting here that should be compared to me, right? Yeah. Like I have friends that used, dude, 1,000% of like what I did, right? Didn't overdose and then like died. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And my friend Skinny Vinny, he talks about this, like he was like, dude, I don't even know how many times that guy overdosed. And you get to the point, and then you start coming out of it again in the final time, and it's like there has to be a reason. Like I can't, and I'm not, like everyone's got their own belief system, right? But like there has to be a reason that I made it through what I have, right? And it wasn't just to keep doing it. like at some point, like it was like, and so now it's like, and these like the reason has to be to show people that you can get through it, right? Like there's just, and that ties into like, man, like most of my trauma healing has come from the fact of like the only way I can make sense of this is that I went through it and I'm strong enough to go through it so I can help other people get to the other side. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense to me. No. Like if I'm like, dude, if I just had a bunch of fucked up shit happen to me for a long time, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just cruel. But if I look at it from the lens of like I went through some of the worst things you can go through as a human being, and I did, so that I could come up in places like this today and tell people, and if there's somebody who's listening, like you can, man, you can too. The first time I shared was about my abuse was at the Pigeon Coop, and that was just, And so I was like one of those guys that like, dude, I never, you get the ticket and you're like, they're like 751, and you're like, I'm 753. I don't know what, like, and they're like, oh, okay. And so, and then, dude, like, so my number got called, and I'll never forget this, man. This was a couple years ago, and I blacked out. Like, I literally, like, I just started, like, I looked at my team, I was like, blah, 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 and I was like, And I talked about it, right? And it was in like, it made sense at the
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
And afterwards I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I'm like looking around, like, you know, your face is red. You're like, damn, did I just like share that to everybody here? And I could not wait for the meeting to get over, right? I'm like, dude, like I like, and you feel like everybody gives
Yeah.
a fuck, but they don't.
No,
like,
right.
unless it resonated with them, they're like, yeah, dude, like I did something behind a dumpster.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so, and I'm like, you know, so, you know, ego and self me, right? And so I get up to leave, and dude, and I'll never forget this. One of the most powerful moments of my life, honestly. So I get up, and this kid comes up to me, and he's on the druggy buggy, you know? And so he's like 18, and he's like, comes up, man. He's like, hey, dude, I got to tell you something. I was like, okay. He's like, I have never felt like somebody understood what I went through until I heard you share right now. And he's like, and I was on the way to the bathroom leaving treatment. I was saying I was going to the bathroom, and you started to speak, and I'm going to go back on the bus, man. He gave me his number. He's like, can I call you? Like, I gave him his number. He's like, and I did after. He stuck out treatment, and he got sober, dude. And like, I was like, one, I mean, that wasn't me. Like, I'm a selfish person. Like, I was like, I don't want anyone to know. And it just kind of blurred out. But like, it really got me on this path, and it took me a while to like fully get to where I am now. But like, you never know, man. Like, you never know who's going to hear it at the right time. And like, I don't know, I haven't talked to him in a while. I don't know where he's at today, but I do know that like that got him through that day.
Yeah.
Which is more than a lot of people sometimes, me included, could do on their own sometimes, right? So, yeah, man, it's just like that whole, like, again, it ties back to the thing of like if I hadn't have gone through that, I could have never even said that, and that guy wouldn't have stayed. You know what I mean? And like, so and it takes the shame out of it for me too, and all the things. But yeah, I mean, it just, that's the thing that makes sense to me now, and it's given me the most healing is like, and I wouldn't be as good of a person I am today if I wasn't such a bad person for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you didn't, if you knew the me 5 years ago, like, you know, but I wouldn't be who I am today, and I'm proud of who I am today because I had to look at myself and realize what a piece of shit I was. And had I have not been a drug addict, I never would have. I would have just kept making money and valued the wrong things. And not that there's anything wrong with making money, but like that was my God. My God was money. My God was like, I feel good about myself if I conquer this and I'm on this board and I do this and I do that. Not like, am I a good father? Am I a good friend? Am I a good brother? Am I a good son? Like, it was just like all superficial stuff. You know, I talk about this a lot. So like my story is that, you know, I moved down here from Canada. I basically hopped the border. I was an illegal, which is, you know, whatever. But so I became like, I'm good now. But I started off an RV dealership by selling RVs on eBay out of a garage, right? And so I was like 22. I turned it into like 3 large dealerships in town, 40 under 40 in that industry. I won all the awards, like had everything, dude. I had, you know, the fucking huge house in Gilbert on the private street with like, you know, the $1 million house under when I wasn't even 30 yet. Like I had everything. But I was dying. Like I was miserable, right? And I had beautiful family and just like struggling through alcoholism and addiction and everything. And then like, you know, my therapist said like, you know, if you don't deal with it, you've got a bottle and like you keep stuffing the trauma in and everyone's got a different bottle, but eventually like that just starts puking back out.
Every time.
So I had one, right? And it was like, I was 34 years old and like my son almost died. And I remember being at the hospital and I was like, fuck it. Fuck life, fuck this. And I went straight out and got a bag and I was like, here we go. It's go time. And I did for a year and a half straight every day, right? And ran my businesses. And I lost them. Everything, dude. I went from being a multimillionaire, not in assets, to 6 months later being on the streets. Like losing my family, burning every bridge impossible, and literally being on the streets. And I remember being so fucking angry about that. Like every time I'd get sober after that, I'd be like, and I'd get everything back right away, right? Like I'd be like, oh yeah, like everyone's like, yeah, dude, you're amazing. I'll give you like great opportunities, right? You're sober. And then I just burn it down again. And it took me a while to get through that. But I remember being so angry for so long. But now, in hindsight, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Literally. Like, and I mean that, and people are like, oh yeah, sure, dude. It's like the, you know, the thing where people like, when you first come to recover and they're like, I'm happy to be an addict. And you're like, sure you are. Yeah. Sure you are, bro. Fuck off. I'm not happy to be here. I'm definitely not happy to be an addict. But now, looking back on it, it's the same thing, man. Like I could have lived that way forever, being miserable. I loved being fucking miserable, man. That was comfortable for me. The chaos, the trauma, like all of it. Like that was my happy place, was like, if shit's not buzzing around me, I'm like, this is weird. Life's good. Like, let's go burn something down, right?
Yeah.
And that catastrophic event, as bad as it was and as hard as it was, and you know, obviously I have a lot of guilt for my kids and my family that went through it, but like if that wouldn't happen, man, I would have lived life that way forever. I would have either died or just like cruised like that, right? Like, yeah, successful, but like, so it kind of goes back, like I think you touched on it earlier, like we never know, right? Like you never really know why something happens until usually way later. And there's a famous Chinese thing where they talk about it, where like the dad goes out and there's all these bad things happen, and then like the son doesn't go to war because of all these bad things. And that's one of those things where, like, in hindsight, man, like at times the things that you think are the worst thing that could ever happen to you are the best. They're the best fucking biggest blessing you ever get. So, you know, again, like anybody who's going through it right now, like I went through it, you know, and if you asked me then, I would be like, yeah, like, no, that was horrible. But now I actually like have a weird like fondness towards it. It's like even treatment, man. Like I joke about it, dude. I'd go back in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, give me 30 days of like hanging out and like we watch, you know, like getting
Come check out our facility.
Dude, I know, right?
I'm the same thing. I'm like, dude.
Like turn my phone off for 30 days and like come back and I'm like stronger and I ate better and like like I meditated more and like all the things, you know. But yeah, man, like everything in life, it just you just never know, man. Like you can't have good things without bad. It just doesn't exist, right? Like there's no light without darkness. I know it's like all cliche, but it really isn't. Like, so again, if like someone is struggling, like I promise you, if you just do the right thing today and you keep doing that to the best of your ability, there's no perfection. Like I said, I still screw up, man, a lot. Probably more now, honestly. Like I thought about it because I'm not afraid anymore. You know, like I'll be like, I'll take more
accountability.
Yeah. So it's like I'll do things that like I'll take more chances almost. Like not negligent or like reckless, but like it's like I'm not like even like talking about things. Like I'll be like, yeah, you know what, dude, I'll share that, right? And so sometimes I screw up, man. Sometimes I'm like, somebody's like, hey, you probably shouldn't say that.
Like, I get it.
So yeah, but if you just try, like that's I don't know, man. Like it doesn't have to. Everybody just looks different. Yours looks different. Recovery looks different than mine. You know, they're rooted in the same things. Like, dude, I remember I was talking to someone about this last night. I used to be so mad at AA. Like, dude, I would go out and I'd rip lines on my big book. Like when I'd go back out and I'd be like AA doesn't work. It's AA's fault. No, motherfucker, it's my fault. Yeah. Like I am like, it's a tool, right? Like it's a program and like it only works if I do it. So like, but I'd be like, dude, I was like such a, you know, resentful guy for so long. I hated AA. I was like, you can't get me sober. Yeah, but it did. Like even if it was for a day.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. Right? Like I came to this place, I shared the first treatment center when it was Canyon Vista. I went to alumni night there recently and spoke, and I was like, and I hadn't been back since because I hated that place. In my head still, I was like, that was my worst. It was my first inpatient, and I think it lasted 2 weeks. Like I got out and was like, it was like Canyon Vista's fault. They didn't have the right therapists, and they didn't give me the right meals, and like I was with bad people, and it's like, no, they kept you alive for 30 days, dude. Because if without them, I probably wouldn't have been, right? And so I just kind of like avoided that place even for all these years, and you know, but I got to go back there and like make amends and apologize to staff. That some of the people were still there. I was like, hey, man, I know I wasn't the best. Like, I probably shit talked about this place and you and everything, and I'm sorry. And they're like, dude, I'm just glad to see you, man. Yeah. You're alive. Like, hell yeah.
You're back.
You're alive. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing is what people don't realize, and if you're at home watching this, what you need to understand is that recovery life, it's a game of moments. Mm-hmm. You know, it really is you might have a willingness right now in this moment, and that's not going to be there in an hour. Mm-hmm. And it is maybe just a little bit of, I'm going to listen to this speaker and something resonates, right? He didn't go to the bathroom 30 seconds earlier. Mm-hmm. He went at that time and he was able to hear what you said, and that kept him there today. And maybe that one more day in treatment led to a therapist getting to a root cause of that, or him now opening up about that, and like their whole trajectory changes. Sometimes it's the moment of a realization of later on saying the best thing that ever happened to me is I lost everything because I probably would have died just this miserable human being that like would have been slowly killing and tearing apart my family this entire time. But like that happened, I went through it, and now I'm able to not only rebuild everything, but be so much more grateful for everything I have, because that's something I don't know. And for me, it's just like you had touched on. Yeah, I take a lot of chances. So there's a lot of stuff that I say or do or whatever else.
Yeah.
But like the other thing is now I can take accountability. When I screw up, I'm like, yeah, I fucked that up. Like that's on me. I own it. Hand up accountability.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
How do I make it right?
Yeah. How
Like-
do I make it right? Instead of just sitting and trying to justify it away or playing the, well, I fucked up 30%, but that's 70% on you. And like, you know I stole from Dick's Sporting Goods, but like, that's corporate America. Like, fuck those guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was probably made overseas, like child labor. Like,
Yeah.
screw them, Like, they deserve to be stolen from. Dude, I get crazy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like,
The justification.
it's the justifications, but and I did that when I was going to make an amends at Dick's, right? That was personally me in the parking
Really?
lot having that whole conversation with myself. It's like they deserved it.
Yeah.
And but it was the moment of going in there, going to some manager saying, I owe you $100 because I stole this thing, and that's how much I think it was worth.
Yeah.
Right? What do you want me to do with it? And he's like, well, you can give it to me, and I'll like buy donuts. And then again, in my head, of being like, you're just gonna steal this $100. This is going in your pocket.
Yeah,
like
like, you're
this is
taking your
not
wife
going
to
to
dinner
donuts.
tonight.
Yeah. And but like knowing I gave him that $100, and I don't know if that was a moment that I sat in my car and I justified it, and then I justified the next thing and the next thing, and now I'm high again, and I don't know how it happened. So it's like it's these little moments of just doing, like you had said, the right thing, and then trusting that everything else is going to work out.
So if anybody wants to check out any of the stuff we're doing, like I said, you got my Instagram. We have ultimategoalie.com. So that's the hockey related one. We have thelastsave.com, which is my charity website, which should actually be live today. And then that on The Last Save has connections to Saved, which is the recovery events we do, how you can help out, how you can donate. I mean, that is a big thing too, I will say. And I know a lot, I'm not asking people, like, dude, especially if you're in early recovery, like please don't give me your $5. Don't. But, starting this, like, the events are great and all that, but like starting my own charity, it does cost a lot of money, and like we've got other people that are helping. But like if anybody wants to chip in, you can donate. You can donate right on the website. You can donate anything. I mean, you can donate your time, money, dude, clothes. It doesn't matter, because a lot of these events we're doing, we have silent auctions. So if you've got something cool, I can assure you that it will go to good use 100%. We're running a very tight budget. But it all goes to like things and helping people. But yeah, I mean, you just follow us, follow me on Instagram, follow Joseph, and just support us, man. Show us some love, because that's really how this whole thing starts, right? Like we are giving love and we're getting love back, and it just keeps ballooning and growing. And and then follow people that help us and support us, like Plugged In. I mean, Shane and Blake and Wenzel, and I mean, dude, I could go on and on and on. Dan, Ibex Fitness. Like, there's so many people right now. It's like crazy, because when I do these Instagram posts, I'm like, damn, dude, I literally, there's more that I think they cap you at 20. I'm like, I have more than 20 people that are like, I need to say thank you to, because like everybody's just helping, man. I am so grateful. And don't get it twisted. Like, life is not like, there's still like, I have bad shit in my life too right now. Like, I don't want anyone to like when things start getting better, like, life still fucking happens, man. I got some fucked up shit happening right now in my life, right? But the good stuff is better than I ever thought it would be, and I am so grateful. And again, if anybody is struggling, you can reach out directly. I will help you to the best of my ability, and that might just be getting you to talk to somebody else. Like, it doesn't have to be me, but you can reach out to me on there. I will talk to you. You can call me. And that's like, as soon as I see your message, like, I will stop what I'm doing, other than like this, he has my phone. But like, for the most part, like, that is a priority in my life. And that's what I want to keep doing. So thank you, man. This has been amazing. It's been an incredible experience.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, man.